back again, and today I have a special guest with us.
Hey guys, it's Josh. Tiffany talked me into getting in the studio with her. Hope you all enjoy.
All right, guys, so let's kick it off. So now we're going to, as you know, Josh, my husband, is joining us today. And let me just say, he doesn't do art. So I was a little nervous. I kept the bloopers and everything else in the video today. So I'm going to collage with an old letter that I have, and just glue it right down with the Oohoo glue stick. And Pam over at So Crazy actually invited us to participate, and I'll have the hashtag. There's several other YouTubers who are participating with it, and it was a good time. It actually come when she invited me. It was so funny because like a week or two before, I had Josh in the studio for the first time. Um, and he was quote unquote helping me. So we had already talked about us working on some pages and stuff for videos, so it come at a great time to go ahead and kick that off. And as you can see, I put the gel matte medium right over that old letter. Why do we do that? We want to create a barrier so the other layers don't just soak directly into that super old paper. And then you know how I like to activate the energy in the page with the scribbles. And then, oopsie doops, I had a little mishap, a little snafu, a little ooh, a little, I got ink all over me. So anyway, I'm going to go in here with my wet paintbrush, and I'm just kind of making that paint flow, and then I'm smushing the pages together. And in any Tiffany fashion, you know I never know what I'm going to do, so I'm just kind of getting this page with some movement. I'm just picking it up with some of the other papers that I had close by. And that way, guess what? We already have some kind of inky, messy papers. Whenever we get ready for them, they're already kind of ready to go. So I'm going in here with like a lighter goldeny mustard color and a baby wipe, and just kind of moving that paint around some more. It really looks rough right now, so, and I'm just going to dry it. That's the key, guys. If you tend to get muddy pages or your pages tend to get dark, make sure that you go ahead and dry those. I just use a craft gun. You could use a blow dryer. This is a heating tool for like embossing, I think. Now, this is my husband, so I'm showing him how to put how to put his hand in the camera and like not jack it up. And then I'm like, hey, squirt the paint over here. And then he's like, what do I do? I'm like, this is a part of a collab. You just do what you want to do. And guys, I was freaking out. You know I don't do hard lines, hard edges. And I'm like, what is this man doing? Goodness gracious. And then I'm like, hey, if you want to, you can just put your fingers in there. So that's what he started doing, is digging in with his fingers, which I think he really, really enjoyed. And then he's like, well, that's kind of already dry. And I was like, well, just keep going. Then he thought he was gonna like do his paintbrush off. He didn't realize there was that much paint on there. And so then, oh Lord, I almost lost it when I saw this X come in. I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, what am I going to do with this? Oh. So, I'm back. So, that was round one for Josh. And, whoo, Lord Jesus, help us. I was a little bit freaked out whenever he put the black X in the middle of the page. I'm like, I don't think I've ever had a black X in the middle of my page. Ooh. Okay, so it gave me a little challenge, right? So I took this brayer, and this one has like lines on it. And so I thought, well, why not let's add some more of the black so that the X is not so stark. it's still pretty stark. But I was like, okay, I like a challenge. Let's make it happen. It gives you guys a good idea whenever something happens that you may not necessarily like. How do we work with what we have and push through, right? So I'm taking some gesso and a palette knife, and I'm just kind of ever so lightly. I do want to keep part of the black Payne's gray color. But I've really been working on in 2018 trying to push myself with white space. So how do I bring that back and not have that cross or that X, sorry, so in your face? So the best way to do that is to make it appear as though it's been pushed in the background with just a little bit of that white gesso and a little bit of the scribbles. So it kind of pushed it into the back just a little, but we know it's still there. So I'm like, okay, I can make this work. I can make this work. Now, what you don't hear is Josh saying, "Is it my turn again?" I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. So Josh is about to be back with us. And so he was asking me some questions about composition, and then he said he wanted to make a smiley face. Oh God, not a smiley face. Lord, help us, Jesus. Oh boy. That was like, and then he said, "How about can I squirt it with water like you do on the videos?" Yes, guys, my husband watches every single video. He even knows what a stencil is. And then I was like, what if you pulled some of that blue and kind of put it over to the other side? And I told him now is not the point to add new colors when he came in. So, and the reason behind that is we had the yellows and goldens, we had the whites, and we had the teals. So I did coach him through the process a little and say, hey, now's not the time to be adding any other colors. We're going to stick with this limited palette that we already have. That way we can ensure ourselves that it is going to kind of go together a little bit. So I activated the ink just a little bit to kind of get that, the teals that he had. I kind of got that going with a little water, and it kind of, with this is Lindy Stamp Gang, so any type of like spray inks, or even if you have like the mermaid markers, I don't actually have those, but they should work pretty much the same. So even though we did dry it in the beginning, it became too much of a focal with the lines and dots that kind of brought our eye over that. And Josh and I did have a conversation about your focal opposed to a background, and what does that mean and what does that look like. And now I love me some crackle paste. This is the crackle paste from Deco Arts. I do recommend when you use this crackle paste that you use it and let it dry naturally to start with, and then you can add the heating tool, but it is a little painful to have to let it start drying, but I do feel like you get the best crackle. And if you want really big, like big cracks, you need to put it on a little thicker. Now Josh is back again, and he's going to use the color shift. He said, "Hey Tiffany, can we use one of those stencils?" So I was like, sure. And we kind of talked through when we were looking at the stencil book. I was showing him how to dab it off so you don't get it too thick. And he's using the plaid stencil brush here. But we were talking about not introducing any new colors, but also right now we have a lot of large marks and not really anything small. So Josh chose this one, which is a Deco Arts, I think a Seth, was it After? Stencil from Deco Arts that's kind of like a snake skin. So that's the reason that he wanted to use that one. And then he did a really nice job not getting it too thick and moving it around the page. And now you can see that the crackle is kind of coming in. So I wanted to get close here so you can see how the graphite pencil and the blending stump kind of make smudges, and it kind of reminds me of like a shadowy effect So I did it in areas with crackle and without crackle, just to kind of give it a smoky, more of a three-dimensional look, as far as an abstract is concerned. But I am breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief because I'm thinking, okay, thank you, Lord. We have gone through his 3 rounds with me, and it did give me quite a bit to take in, and I was a little bit in shock, but we made it work. That's all that matters. So he is going to come back and he's going to help us pick out kind of the sentiment that we wanted to go on the page. And I thought that a nice neutral muslin. So he picked out those words off camera out of my little, I believe this is a Tim Holtz, like little sayings. And then it says, be thankful. And I think it says, do all you can do. Yeah, I think that's what it says. And then I grabbed, I wanted some type of fibers. So I grabbed this, I found this at the thrift store. And anyway, I just felt like I had hit the lottery. And so I grabbed this little swatches. And so I took 2 of those out. And I let Josh come back and show me which one that he thought would go well with them. Because I had an idea to kind of stitch the 2. You know, when you get married, 2 lives become 1. And so we've been married for quite a while, almost been together 15 years now, and he comes in and picks that one out. And when I was looking at the 2 like separate sentiments there, I thought, man, wouldn't it really be awesome to be able to stitch those together? Because anyone who's been in a long-term relationship or been married, you know that it's a hard transition whenever you have 2 separate lives, 2 separate worlds, and you bring them together, and all the compromises and all of the like family stuff that you kind of have to stitch together. And so that was kind of the reason behind this stitching. Now I'm going in and I'm just doing some hand stitching, and y'all already know I don't know what in the world I'm doing. I'm just stitching back and forth, and I do want it to like separate and not be right on top of each other, but kind of like separate, 2 separate things coming together, and they're kind of meshing. That was kind of my thoughts behind that. Then I got a flipping knot in there. I had to pause it. So I'm back now, and I've kind of got it together the way I want it. And so now it's like fibers that are intertwining together. And I thought that was a perfect representation for marriage and going through life together. So I hope you really enjoyed it. This just may become a new series here on the channel because we had an amazing time working together. He gave me some new perspective and some new challenges. With that being said, I hope you click the subscribe button. Make sure you go follow me on YouTube and not YouTube, but Instagram. And also make sure you check the link below. I'm going to link the other YouTubers as well as the hashtag that we are participating with. So if you want to do it with your spouse, child, anybody, grab them and get them in the studio. It's a freeing experience, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, guys, toodaloo!